Okay, genetics of obesity. No, I hear a lot. Oh, stop blaming genetics. That's like 5% of the problem. Okay, you're built of your genes, so it's pretty it's pretty significant in my opinion. Like, I don't know if you're going to frame a house if you could do that without wood. So wood's pretty important to the whole like house thing most of the time. I think genetics are pretty important most of the time. So when it comes to the genetics of obesity, uh, most people are surprised to learn just how much the DNA affects your weight. So you've probably heard, obviously, that you just need to eat less and move more. I'm sure you've tried everything. I'm sure you struggled with your weight. You're not alone, and you're not broken. Well, you are kind of broken, but it's not you. It's your body processes they're not broken. They're wonky. Okay, so genetics plays a powerful role. It isn't just about willpower at all. It's about biology. And understanding the genetics of obesity can shift the blame from "I'm just not trying hard enough" to uncovering how your body is wired and what you can do about that. Okay, so some of the genes, like I'm just going to name off a couple. There's like 100 that we know of that are associated with obesity. One is the FTO, the fat mass gene. It's This one really influences your appetite and your hunger regulation. Okay, the melanocortin 4 receptor gene is the one that really influences energy balance, and satiation. Not necessarily hunger. There's a difference. Hunger and satiation. I'm satisfied. I'm not hungry, but I want a piece of brownie that my kids are cooking in the other room. Then there's the leptin and leptin receptor gene. So if you have a dysfunction of this gene, you may have had a childhood plagued by excessive, insatiable, constant hunger. There are children like that the people they have to lock everything. These kids will eat stuff that's not food. They're so hungry. You can have variants of that too. So this will these genes are involved in fat storage. They're involved in appetite regulation, hunger signaling, satiation signaling, things like that. Now there's the I look at my note here. ADRB3 gene. Okay, it's this one plays a role in um, thermogenesis, or like body heat, and fat burning. Okay, so if you got a variant of that one, you may be exercising your butt off and not getting anywhere. Okay, so this is just a little snapshot. Genes affect how your body works. Um, Now, they affect, your appetite, your fat metabolism, your fat storage, your behavior. Like, do you feel hungry? Do you feel satisfied? Maybe that's not your problem. Maybe your body just naturally stores fat with like hardly any calories. Maybe if you eat a little piece of fat, you gain 20 pounds, or if you eat a carb, you gain 20 pounds. Maybe you're one of those, okay? Your metabolism, how quickly, how slowly you burn calories, how well your body works. Your behavioral impacts, cravings, it impacts food noise, food reward response. It impacts how well you deal with stress. It impacts how well you sleep sometimes. Like if you have a big neck, maybe you're just prone to sleep apnea, regardless of your weight. Okay? Lots, lots, lots. Your genes affect everything. Okay? So if you have parents or siblings or a close relative that has struggled with weight, you probably going to struggle with weight, or you're going to pass it on to your children. And we're not blaming your parents or your family. We're just talking about the genetics and using it as a tool. So we could test. There's a lot of tests that we can do, but there's one big kahuna that will tell us so much about what kind of nutrition would be best for you. Do you have any of these variants of the obesity gene? What kind of exercise you should be doing, which is freaking fascinating in and of itself. But is it genes? Is it environment? Yeah, it's both. So genes kind of load the gun, and the environment pulls the trigger. Okay, so obesity is very complex. It's not a character flaw. It's not about what you eat or how much you eat. Okay, I mean, it little is about what type you eat and how much, but there's so much more depth to why this is happening. And if you understand the why, you can help start pinpointing the what do I do about it. Okay, so we're taking the blame away. It's not because you didn't get good advice, or you just don't have the right tool, or you just are not disciplined, or you're lazy, or any of that. It's not about that. Okay, you just need the correct treatment. Okay, so these tests are not cheap. If you have some disposable income, the big kahuna is like $399. If you just want to know like medicines, if you have to take a lot of medicines and you want to know, is it good for you? Is it works for you? That test is like $300. We can do that. It's pretty easy. That includes the test, my visits, everything. Okay. Now, is it required? No. We can talk about your family history, and I get a pretty good idea. But it is very helpful. If don't stress yourself, and don't put yourself out there financially for it. Don't miss a car payment or anything for it, but it's helpful if you have the extra. Yeah, that's all I got about. No, I am making, oh crap, on ovhmed.com. I got a blog, and it's Serena's blog, and in there I'm going to go through all those 100 genes for you, and I'm going to give you the research article for it if I can find one. I've got like 10 so far, so it's a work in progress. But yeah, I'm going to go how it affects obesity, the SNPs, the SNPs. Anyway, the variant to look out for, and what it means if you have that SNP. Okay. Anyway, we're going to go through it. And so, if you've already had a genetic test done, and you're wondering, what all these letters and numbers and all that mean, well, hopefully, in the near future, in my spare time, you could go in there and kind of see if you can figure it out, and you won't have to spend more money. All right? So that is coming in the future. I need a couple minutes to do that,